If you have been working out, you go to the gym or you strength train from home, the gym, you're lifting weights, but you're not seeing the results that you want. And you've been doing this for quite some time and you're thinking, why? Why am I still looking like I don't work out? That's one way of looking at it or saying it, because when I talk to women, what they want when they're lifting weights and they're doing workouts with weights, they tell me, I want to look toned, or I want to look like I work out, or I want to look like I'm fit. Okay. And nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. But what she wants, or maybe this is you, what you want is to have muscle that shows, that you look defined. And we're not talking about looking bulky or looking like you're a bodybuilder competition type of body. That's not what we're talking about. But you want to have that healthy, strong, fit appearance, and you've been going to the gym or you've been lifting weights, but you're still not seeing those results, then what I want to talk about today is really going to be helpful. I hope that this episode today speaks to you and gives you some insight that maybe you didn't have when it comes to building muscle, getting stronger, and actually looking like you work out. Because I know it's not effort. If you are going to the gym or you're doing these workouts from home, it's not about effort. It's about how you're executing, what you're executing, and how you're doing it. I'm also going to include a little bit about my backstory when it comes to strength training. And all of this wrapped up in a beautiful package of fat loss. Strength training for fat loss. Let's get into it. Hey girl, welcome back to another episode of Rock That Fitness with Anna Rockstar. And you, just me and you today, girl. We're going to get into it when it comes to strength training for fat loss. Ah, yes. The big FL, the big F word, if you will. I reflect back. I'm going to share a little bit about my story because, when I think about my story, I just want you to know that I get it. For years, I struggled with my weight and I was active. I definitely was active, whether I went through and did, 5K runs and I did all these things, bike rides and triathlons. And I struggled with my weight. I was never happy with my weight. I would gain weight. I would lose weight. I would gain it back and then some. And kept finding myself at a place where I was never happy with my body and I was always afraid of regaining back the weight. I remember seeing women who were in their 40s and they were fit. And I would say to myself, what has she got? What's different? Even going to the gym, I'd go to the gym and I would do like the treadmill or the elliptical machine, lots of cardio. And I'd see this, there's one in particular I'm remembering because I remember in the locker room and I was checking her out, not like that. Okay. But I was just I talked to her, this one woman, and this was back when I was in my 20s and she told me she was in her 40s. And I was like, wow, I want to be like her. So for years I wanted that. I just didn't know what it took. What did it take to have that fit physique? We want to be rock star fit chicks, right? Well, this is huge. This is, oh my gosh, put a big, bright spotlight on this. Strength training on a structured plan for fat loss. Because this is one, when it comes to my fitness, this is the one big thing I did differently that I had never done in all of the years of my struggling with my fat loss and working out. And that was having a structured strength training program, a structured plan for building muscle and getting strong and getting lean. So here's the thing. I want to kind of reflect back when I did start, because I did, obviously I was like, man, I'm not going to get into all of the details of my story. You've heard it many times, I'm sure, if you've been listening to the podcast. But I just want to reflect back when I started to strength train. I was like, you know what? I'm going to start strength training. Go to the gym. I'm going to start lifting weights. I don't know what the heck I'm doing. I mean, I kind of, I did my Googling. I did some talking to some other personal trainers. I knew I needed to build muscle. I didn't really know enough to think about all of the muscles that needed to be worked on. I didn't realize at the time, like I was just thinking, you know what, I just need to do some upper body stuff, some lower body stuff, and some full body stuff. And that's kind of what I did. I started going to the gym and doing that. I didn't know what I was doing. I would find workouts. I would follow some workouts, follow some trainers, follow some things and do it. But I want to talk about the mistakes, some of the mistakes real quick, the mistakes that I would make. The first one was when I started strength training. Yes, I did randomly do some strength moves, strength exercise, because I didn't know. I randomly did it. But I started very quickly realizing I needed to do some of the same stuff week after week so that I could build. And one of the big things I would focus on was full body stuff, which was great for full body strength. Full body compound moves was like what I first got into, because I was like, man, I'm going to compound my whole body. I want my whole body to be strong and fit. And I would do a lot of compound stuff, and then just a few accessory things. Like I would do deadlifting. Well, deadlifting, I didn't get right into deadlifting yet. That was a little bit later. But I would do squats. I would do bench pressing. I did push-ups. I was starting to work on my pull-ups. Those kind of things. Those were like full body stuff. Core, abs. I did a lot of abs. Those are all the things I did, which those were not really a mistake. But I didn't fully understand. And then I started to understand that I needed to be on a plan. And so I thought I had I had a bright idea. I was going to buy a structured plan from one of my friends. And I'm like, hey, can you build me a strength training plan? Please, I'll pay you. And he was like, yeah, sure. Why not? But then I realized, I didn't know at the time. This was a long time ago, y'all. This was a long time ago. So laugh if you want to. It's okay. It's okay to look back and laugh. I realized that was just one plan. You can't stick to just one plan for years. So there's your bonus tip, okay? That's not how it works. Some of the other things I did, and I might probably share along the way as I talk about the things that I'm going to talk about today in today's episode. But I didn't take rest breaks between my sets. In fact, I would do things between my sets because I felt like I needed to spend my time doing something, not just doing nothing in between my sets. So I would do push-ups between my sets. I would stretch between my sets. I would dance between my sets or whatever. I was doing something active, working my body between sets. In my mind, I was like, this is efficient because I'm not wasting any time. I'm still doing something between those sets. But it's kind of funny to look back on. I feel like I was just a big kid learning all the things and having a great time on the playground. So anyways, I want to share with you the difference, some of the main things that will take your random strength training to the next level, and you won't be a beginner anymore. You're going to have some insight today that's going to actually help you implement and execute your strength training plan in a more focused, intentional way to actually bring you the results that you want. When it comes to building muscle and getting stronger. So I didn't really do any updates today, any personal updates. I will just real quick, I will mention what's going on. Let me do a real quick announcement, right? Because this is going to drop on, what day is this dropping on? Let me look at my calendar. Hold on. Yes, we're not prepared for the dates, but we need to be. This episode is dropping on April 6th, Monday, April 6th. And what I want to remind you is that I am going to be doing my free, the keys to the 3 secrets to sustainable fat loss for women over 40. That's going to be my webinar. My masterclass is happening on April the 8th, in just a couple of days from when I drop this episode. So this is completely free, and you don't want to miss this because these are the keys to your fat loss. If you want not just fat loss, but sustainable, you want to sustain it. So show up to my masterclass. I'm going to have some exciting things going on you want to be here for. So go in the show notes and grab that link and sign up, get registered. And I will see you inside of my 3 secrets to sustainable, unlocking got to have the key. I'm going to give you the keys. Give you the key to the 3 secrets to sustainable fat loss after the age of 40. We got to do things differently. We cannot, absolutely will not be able to get the results that we want in our fat loss, in our fitness and aging strong without these 3 secrets. So come find out the secrets, girl. Go look in the show notes and get that link and sign up. That's that. And as you know, another thing, always, Rock That Fitness is open. And so if you're ready, girl, you're done playing games with diets and all the things and starting over, come on in and let's get started. Because once you join, immediate access to the Rock That Fitness app, immediate access to the course, the Kickstart course, where you can go self-paced, and immediate access to me as your coach and all of the wonderful Rockstar women clients inside of RTF. It's a great community. You will love it. And coaching calls each week. All right. Any other announcements? Oh, it's not too late. Big deal, big deal. If you have not signed up for this year's Rockstar Retreat 2026, Rockstar Energy, girl, what are you waiting on? It's not too late to sign up, though. The deadline to sign up is April 14th. This is going to be hosted at Lively Beach Resort in Corpus Christi on Padre Island, right on Padre Island. Beautiful, beautiful place that we're going to be hosting this year. A wonderful group of women that have already signed up. I can just sense this energy is great. All of the women who have signed up are next level in their mind. Like they are ready to get on with some big time up leveling of personal growth. So I say that because once we really engage and get locked and loaded in our mindset, who we are, who we want to become, and who we're becoming, then everything changes. So, I'm going to talk about nutrition. I'm going to talk about strength training. But girl, if you want things to last and you're done with starting over, then we got to get locked and loaded with our mindset and personal growth. And that's really the heart of this year's Rockstar Retreat that we have themed Rockstar Energy. So you can get into the frequency and stay in that vibe. And yeah, all that good stuff. If you've even been thinking about it, go check out the show notes, go click on the link and go see what that's all about. And you can always reach out to me if you have any questions. It's going to be pretty amazing. And I really don't want you to miss out on this great, amazing experience that's going to happen this year. So go check that out. I think that's all the notes. That's all that I have for now. More to come. I'm pretty sure the next Kickstart is going to be happening. So that's going to be inside the show notes. That's my live Kickstart. All the things. Go look in the show notes. Don't miss out. If you're ready to make a change in your life and and stop starting over, it's for you. All of it. Anything happening in the Rockstar world, girl. If we're vibing, it's for you. So go check out the show notes. Okay. Now let's get into Wait, did I tell you what I was doing today? I had to do this episode early. I usually record my episodes on Thursday, but it's Wednesday and Country Boy's waiting on me because I couldn't record it yesterday because my platform for recording podcast was down. How convenient was that? Well, it was fine because I had plenty I needed to get done yesterday. So I'm doing this podcast on Wednesday and Country Boy's waiting on me. Why? Because we are going to go on a getaway. Thank God for Country Boy. Thank God for my Country Boy. He put together a fabulous, wonderful, he's calling it a lover's getaway or lover's retreat or something. I don't know. I got to actually pick the cabin and we're going to a new place called Lost Maples in Texas. I think it's like 4 hours away from us. So anyway, that's what's going on here in my neck of the woods, as they say. And I'm going to get on with it now because he's waiting on me. But anyways, let's talk about that. So as you know, I mentioned a little bit about my story, right? I am the one that was stopping and starting over. I thought I was doing the right things, but never did I think about lasting results. For some reason, that didn't click. And what's funny is a lot of my clients, when I talk with them about the lasting results that they're getting and have gotten, it's like, we all are like, why didn't we think about lasting results? Why did we think when we got to some kind of goal or result, we just revert back, right? It's kind of a crazy, funny thing. Not really so funny, but it is. But my biggest shift for myself, like I said, was this strength training. And, I put in a lot of effort with activity and workouts, and I did it all. Body pump classes, Zumba classes. Oh my gosh. all the things, all of those kind of things, and lots of running. Yeah, it was a lot, and never did I did body pump because I thought, well, I want to look strong. I want to build muscles. So I did body pump, but the classes are not strength training. That's not strength training. So the difference, right, between working out with weights or using weights for a workout and strength training to build muscle is night and day. It's two different things. And when it comes to strength training for fat loss, especially over the age of 40, we need to be very intentional. We've got to have a plan. And a plan that happens. When I say a plan, real quick, what I mean is a progressive strength training plan where you're basically doing the same sets of exercises for a certain number of days in that week, but then you're also doing them again the following week and the following week for a number of weeks. And that way you're progressing and you're documenting your reps, your sets, the weights that you're doing, and you're challenging yourself week after week. And that's how you build muscle and that's how you get stronger. So you have to be on a plan that is actually designed for that, not just random workouts. Otherwise, how do you know? Excuse me. How do you know? Because you cannot measure what you cannot measure. You cannot manage what you don't measure. You got to track it to know that you're getting results. Otherwise, it's random and you have no idea if you're getting stronger or building muscle. And this takes time. It takes consistency. It takes grit. It takes patience with the process and with yourself. But it works. And by the way, I don't know, what your age is, but it's never too late to get started. And as you know, we're also losing muscle mass every decade. 3 to 5% every year, or every decade, we are losing muscle mass. That starts back in the early parts of our 30s. And so every decade, then it just compounds and gets worse, which I need to throw this out there too. I feel like I need to remind us how many times we've dieted to lose weight. How many times? If you have repeatedly been dieting and you have been losing weight, and then you go back to your quote unquote, the way you were doing things, then you're going to gain back the weight. But when you have been losing weight multiple times, like repeatedly, not only are you losing fat, but you're also losing muscle mass. And so if you haven't been replacing that muscle mass, building it back up, now what's happening when you're gaining back the weight, you're gaining back more fat. And your muscle has depleted, you have less muscle mass, which, muscle is metabolically what is burning so much. It's going to be burning calories as you rest. It's why our metabolism drops like dramatically when we have this shift in our hormones as we're aging, because we're losing muscle mass. But you don't have to, girl. You can build it back, okay? You have control to build back the muscle and maintain the muscle. So, all right. Just remember that, because that was a big thing that stood out to me when I started realizing, man, you know what? Wow, my body just needs to build back the muscle. I have more muscle in my body, and my body's gonna be burning more calories just at rest. How powerful is that? All right, so today I'm going to walk you through 7 key things. There are so many things, but today, these are just some things that came to mind today that I wanted to talk about, and there's 7. So number 1, and so what are they? 7. I'm going to talk about rest periods, the importance of rest periods. I'm going to talk about warm-ups and build-up sets, talk about tempo and control, intensity. Number 4, intensity and progressive overload. I'm going to talk about rep ranges, that's number 5. I'm going to talk about supersets, so what that is. I'm going to talk a little bit about nutrition, because girl, we got to have nutrition when it comes to building muscle and getting stronger. All right, so let's go. Number 1, rest periods. Okay, this is one of the biggest mistakes. Like I said, I didn't know myself back in the day when I was getting started. So now you're going to know that you need to respect those rest periods. So inside of Rock That Fitness, we have a structured strength training plan inside of the app that I deliver. New strength training program, a new fresh program every 6 weeks. We go through 6-week phases in RTF. And we have in each of those exercises in the sets, like if I gave you 3 sets of an exercise, after each, and a set is how many is like, let's just say a set is a set of 8 reps, 6 to 8 repetitions, right? That's what I'm talking about when I say a set. So after you complete a set, that's where there's rest period. And a rest period can be anywhere from like 30 seconds up to 60 or a minute and a half or 2 minutes, just depending on the exercise and what it's intended for and the intensity for it. But we must not ignore and rush through our workouts or do something between those sets, okay? Because rest periods in a strength training program are it's part of the workout. So you have to include that. There's this thing, you can look it up. I'm not going to go into it. ATP PC system. This is where when you're doing that exercise, you get a short-term energy system used for lifting. Like it's like a strong, oh my gosh, I'm losing my words. It's a short-term energy boot. Like it just shoots out the energy, and that's when you're doing your reps, right? And this lasts for like 10 to 20 seconds, and then it needs to recharge. So imagine that you're doing your set, you're pushing out your reps, and you're emptying a gas tank while you do that. Like rep, pushing it out, empty the tank, right? We talk about this, like don't leave any reps in the tank. And so when you do push out all of that, now it's going to take some time to fill that tank back up. It's the circulation, it's the body bringing back fresh circulation of nutrients, the blood's bringing the nutrients, the oxygen back, the ATP back into the muscle so that you have it again for your next set. So if you don't rest, your strength is going to drop, and then your reps are going to drop, and then you won't have progressive overload. You're just going to be getting exercise. We're not here just to exercise, right? We're here to build muscle and get stronger. So what we need to do instead is prepare for the next set. So once you've done your set, respect the rest period, and then let your muscle rest, let it recover, and then you can go back into your set prepared. And so not only that, you also are resetting mentally. What are you going to do during that? Like if you're like me and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm twiddling my thumbs, I will do a casual walk around sometimes between my sets, because getting some steps. I mean, I'm not talking about exercise, brisk walking around like that. I'm talking about just, nonchalantly little, walk in the park type of a walk around the area and then back to my set. Or I'll look and see, where am I at in my reps and my sets? How am I going to challenge myself? How many reps do I need to get in this next set to challenge myself? Or even looking ahead at the next exercise. I do that too. What's the next exercise? Looking around I do my stuff in the gym, so I'm looking at the equipment that I'm going to need, and is it being taken at that time? Just kind of preparing mentally for the next exercise. So, point made. Respect your rest periods. They are in there on purpose for that purpose. Okay, number 2. Make sure you're not jumping right into your workout. Before you get started on your strength training workout, it's important to warm up. And when I say warm up, like inside of the RTF app, I do put warm-ups in there. But I also think before you even start your strength training and your dynamic warm-ups, why not? I think it's a great idea, 5 or 10 minutes of some very light cardio, whether that be a brisk walk or a little baby jog, or get on an elliptical machine, something, even a Stairmaster, something to get the heart rate up for like 5 to 10 minutes, not up a lot, just easy, get the circulation flowing. The way that I think about this, I like to think about it like, how your muscles are like taffy when they're starting out. Taffy is kind of hard and stiff, but when it gets warmed up, it's pliable, right? You can stretch it and move it. It's the same thing with our muscles. Think about that. A little 5 to 10 minute cardio warming up those muscles so that they have circulation, they're heated up a little bit, warmed up. That's why we call it warm up, to go into the workout. You can do some stretching. I want to caution you against doing static stretching. Static stretching means you're holding a stretch for like 30 seconds or so. Please don't do that before your strength training session. Do some dynamic stretching. That's kind of like where you're kind of moving through the stretch, moving while you do the stretch, quickly, but gently, but not holding your stretch. We don't want to do that before strength training. But do some kind of 5 to 10 minute warm up, get the blood flowing, get the muscles activated, and then yes, do something for the warm up. And then when you get ready to do your set, we have this what we call warm up set. So especially when you're doing your first strength move, whether that be a bench press, or if it's like a squat move or a deadlift or an overhead press, one of these bigger compound moves, you want to do a warm-up set. So do something lighter, like you want to do something that's going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of only like 50 to 75% of what you would normally lift in that. Okay. So that you start off just kind of like waking up your muscles, like, hey, we're about to do this. So we're going to do, a few sets, warm up sets instead. This was one of the things I didn't know when I was starting out. I would just go right into it. But I didn't do warm up sets. So you want to do like 2 or 3 warm-up sets. That's where you're going to do about 75%, 50 to 75% of the weight that you're going to be lifting just as a warm-up set. Just to get that muscle activation happening and get that mind to muscle connection. So your mind and your muscles are working together, like, yep, we're doing this. And also prepares your joints, right? And then you can go into your actual working set. So that's the difference between, so if you see on there that your sets are saying, do 3 sets of 10 to 12 on that move, then you will do less weight for a warm-up set, a couple of warm-up sets, and you'll do maybe some six reps, right? And then you can do your working sets. All right. And so your body's just going to perform way better when you do that. And I didn't do that when I was a beginner. So, no shade to that. If you didn't know, you didn't know. Another thing, number 3, tempo and control. This is another big mistake, rushing through your reps and using momentum instead. Like momentum, when I say, if you've ever seen somebody, they're like moving their whole body you see me on YouTube like this. They're like moving their whole body to do like hammer curls. They're using momentum instead of, proper stance, bracing yourself, and just working those muscles that are supposed to be working with that move. So don't rush it. And your muscles are going to respond to that tension, not the speed. And we want to have a proper tempo. And there's a lot of different ways to do this. But just in general, this is the main thing. Just know that rushing through isn't going to get it. We need to do like 1 second and then a 2 to 3 seconds to the concentric. So, oh my goodness, for getting into it. We have two things happening during a rep, which is the contraction and the extension, which we have the concentric move and the eccentric move. Concentric means contraction. The muscle is contracting. When the muscle is contracting, we want that to be about 1 to 2 seconds during that move. And then when we are extending that muscle, that's the eccentric part of it, 2 to 3 seconds down. That's just a general guideline so that you're not rushing 1, 2, 3, not like that. Okay. And so the eccentric phase is the lowering phase. This is when the most stimulus, this is major stimulus for the muscle growth, is on the eccentric move. And that's how come whenever I'm talking about, working on your pull-ups or your chin-ups, then this eccentric move is really important. You could just do eccentrics to start building that up. All right. So next, number 4, intensity and progressive overload. So this is probably one of the biggest issues and mistakes that so many women are making. They're not lifting heavy enough. They're lifting the same amount of weight all the time. And so you got to give your muscles a reason to grow. Either, when I say grow, I mean either in mass or in strength. And there is a difference with that. Okay. So don't be lifting too light, because if you're just lifting, that's great, and you're lifting light, that's fine, but just understand that you're not going to get the benefits. You're getting exercise. And so what we want to know, how do you know you're lifting heavy enough? Because then your last 2 to 3 reps should feel hard. If it's feeling easy, then we've got to increase those weights. And here's the thing. And I guess I should talk about the rep ranges a little bit. So I'll mention that again. But right here, we're talking about intensity. So let's stick with that. When you might say, well, when is it time to start lifting heavier? I'm going to give you an example. Let's just talk about bicep curls. Okay. And let's say that you are curling, I'm just going to make this up, 10 pounds for 3 sets of 10 to 12. I'm just going to say 3 sets, 10 to 12, and you're using a 10-pound weight. So for every set, the goal is that you want to get to the top part of that rep range. If that rep range is 10 to 12, your goal is to shoot for 12. So for each set, you want to be able to do 10 to 12 reps for each of those sets. And if you can get to 12 and beyond, if you feel like you got to 12, but you can, pump out 2 or 3 more reps, then it's time to increase the weight, because you're not emptying your tank, girl. Let's not leave any reps in the tank. But also something to consider is that you want to be able to hit that top of the rep range, 10 to 12, for all 3 sets before you think about increasing the weight from the 10 pounds up to 12 pounds or 15 pounds or wherever you're at. Okay. I hope that makes sense. So, but here, the point here when it comes to intensity is you want to be pushing yourself. You need to know that when you finished that set, you pretty much could only maybe have pushed out another 1 or 2 reps. So if you can still push out 1 or 2, 3 reps, then you're not pushing your muscles hard enough. And like I said, your muscles need a reason to grow, or they're not going to do anything. That's how the body adapts. The body's like, whoa, we need to get stronger. This girl is pushing some weight. And so that's what's going to happen after the workout, which, by the way, we know that your results aren't happening while you're doing your workout. It's going to happen afterwards when your body is recovering and then building back. So that's what we want. We want the body to adapt. The body is going to be like, whoa, we need to adapt to this. And so we got to give our muscles a reason to grow. So intensity. And then each week you're going to start noticing, because maybe that rep range, 10 to 12 for 3 sets, is maybe you're hitting 10 the first set. Let's say you're doing 12 the first set, and let's say you're doing 12 the second set, and maybe 10 the third set, but you're doing proper rest between. It's not time to move up, right? We want to get to that 12th rep range at the third set. So I hope that makes sense. Okay, now let's talk about the rep ranges. Here's another big mistake. If you are just grabbing workouts off of the internet or wherever, you might just see a lot of 3 to 10 on everything. Everything has 3 sets of 10 reps. Well, girl, no. If you have that, then you don't have a proper strength training plan, and it's time to swig some water. Cheers. Let's have a little water. Thank you. Thanks for waiting. Anyway, let's talk about some rep ranges and what they mean, because sometimes, like the other day, I had somebody say, I think I need to start lifting lighter with more reps so I can get results. Or I hear this too. I think I need to lift fewer reps with heavier weight. What do you think? What's better? Okay. Well, neither one of those is right or wrong, because it just depends on your goal and it depends on your strength training program and your plan. Because when I'm designing a plan, I have rep ranges for each exercise on purpose. In fact, I'm always telling my clients, please follow the plan as it is designed. Don't jump around. It's important to do the plan as I have designed it on purpose from beginning to end. There's a reason why I have everything in the order that I have it in. The rep ranges are on purpose. The rest periods are on purpose, even though rest periods are kind of a guideline, because I could put in there 60 seconds rest. But if you feel like you need more rest between those sets, then by all means. Okay. The thing is, you don't want to go back into another set and you haven't rested well enough to get to the rep range again. And you'll know this. And it's a trial and error. So it's not like you're going to get this perfect. This takes time. It takes a lot of practice and reps. So let's break it down. What does it mean, these different, rep ranges? Not every exercise should be all 10 to 12. Okay. So if you're thinking, oh, I got this, girl, I'm just going to go do 10 to 10, 3 sets of 10 on all my exercises. I know. No. Because what we're working on, I'm going to just give you a basic guideline just to get through here real quick. This is just basics. Okay. 1 to 5 reps is for like building power. Okay. And then we get into building muscle, which could be 6 to 12, it could be 12 to 15. And it also depends on how that is in, set up for how many sets in the exercise. But when you get beyond 15, 20 reps in something, now we're working on endurance. Now, this is something I wish I had known when I was doing my strength training when I was first starting, because I thought it was so cool that I could do so many push-ups. And I would do push-up challenges. Me and Brookie, we would do push-up challenges. Oh my gosh. And I was like, how many push-ups can I do? Right. And I was going at 30 push-ups at one time, 40 push-ups at one time. I got up to 50, I think, push-ups at one time. And I just thought that was so great. I was so strong. I'm so strong. I can do this many. But guess what? I learned. That's okay. And that's fun if that's what you want to do. But just know that that's not going to build muscle and it's not going to build strength. When we get up into those higher rep ranges, what we're building is endurance. Yeah. And so same thing when it goes for doing your pull-ups or anything. When you get up in the higher ranges, now you have to decide, do I want to this is like, I'm going to decide, am I going to spend this much time doing rep after rep after rep when all I'm doing here is just building endurance? Nah, not me. I mean, there's a time and place for it. But anyway, now you understand, right? The different rep ranges are for a purpose. The lower rep ranges are typically for strength and power, where as you move through up to the next rep ranges, we're talking about building muscle hypertrophy, which means muscle growth. So that's different than muscle strength. And then beyond that, we're talking more like endurance. How long can you keep doing the reps? All right, next, what in the world is a superset? What are they and why do we use them? So a superset, I like to put these in after the main strength move, after some accessory moves for that strength training session, and then now we do some supersets. This is how I like to do it. All of my strength training phases, strength training programs, like I said, are designed for a combination of strength and muscle building. And so supersets are putting two sets of two exercises or 3 together, kind of like a circuit. So for example, I could put 2 exercises back to back. Maybe I would do this on a cable machine. Maybe I would do this with dumbbells, but working an exercise for the biceps and then an exercise for the triceps or something like that, or something totally different. 2 exercises back to back and then a rest, which means little to no rest between the 2 exercises, if that makes sense. So let's say you do one exercise, you do 15 reps, you go immediately into the next one, 15 reps, and now you rest. Then you go and do it again, however the program says for you to do it. So this is going to help with time efficiency and intensity, but what this is not for heavy strength work. So sometimes if you see a superset in an exercise like this, where you're going back and forth 2 exercises or 3 exercises, this isn't the time to see how much you can lift. Actually, you're going to want to go lower on the weight here because you're going to have higher number of reps. And the idea here is this really is working some more like endurance and growth of your muscle. So this is not strength work, okay? But that's what a superset is. So if you ever see a superset, big thing to remember is this isn't the time to lift heavy. This isn't like, oh, I usually do bicep curls with my 15 or 20 pound dumbbells. No, because if you're doing a superset, it's expected that you're going to go into the next exercise with no rest. And so you're going to need a lower weight, which a lot of times the supersets also have higher reps most of the time. And that's how it is. That's how I design them. So that's what supersets for. And now let's just touch on a little bit, right, of nutrition. because you cannot build muscle and get strong without the proper bricks and without the proper bricklayer. Because girl, we are building our brick house and we need to take pride in this. So we need to provide the proper bricks, the proper macros to build your muscles. So when I think about this, when I like to use this analogy, because, you have to have the right bricks, which is the protein source. Just to throw this out there, 0.7 grams up to 1 gram of protein per goal body weight in pounds. That's just a general guideline. Most women are not getting nearly enough protein. So calculate that for yourself. And I say that 0.7 grams, 0.8 grams, something like that, up to 1 gram per goal body weight. That means not per what your weight is now if you have an excessive amount of weight to lose. No. What is your goal body weight? Or maybe you're already at your goal body weight. So you want to shoot for a range between 0.7 grams and 1 gram of protein per goal body weight in pounds. Don't get that confused, because you're going to hear this in kilograms too, which you can do that if you want to. I just try to keep it simple here in America with pounds. Unless I'm, measuring grams, with my food. Okay, so this is going to help you support muscle repair and muscle growth. So you want to make sure you're eating plenty of protein. But please, girl, don't be leaving out the carbs. Carbs is our primary source of energy. You got to have energy to actually put those bricks on the house. So eat all the protein you want, but if you're not eating any carbs, energy, how is your body going to have energy to build the muscle? This is our primary energy source. So the carbs are replenishing those glycogen stores, the fuel that your body needs for lifting and for building the muscle. So no carbs equals no energy. No energy equals no results. All right. Calories. If you are in a calorie deficit and you're in a very restrictive, low calorie deficit, this is going to lead to poor recovery, poor performance, and you will not, and I repeat, build muscle like that. You can, if you are a newbie and you're just getting started, yes, you can build muscle while you're in a healthy, very modest calorie deficit. And I'm talking newbies, because if you've been doing this a while and you've built up muscle and you're strong, you've already built up a lot of muscle, that's another story. And we need to do some phases. When I say phases, I'm talking like a fat loss phase, a reverse diet into maintenance phase, building muscle, maybe even a surplus to build muscle. But that's getting more advanced. But just remember, if you're in a deep calorie deficit and you're tired and fatigued, listen, your body doesn't have what it needs to build muscle and get strong. So you're going to be spinning your wheels. It's important to have your nutrition dialed in if you really want to build muscle. And I'm just, with all love, kindness, no judgment at all, most women don't understand this is key to building muscle, is really, eating properly for the result that you want. We have to be in alignment with our nutrition if that's what we want. There's no way around it. This is just science. It's proven. It's proof. Well, we have come to the end. This is it. We have finally got here. And whoopsies, did that really happen? No. I forgot to turn my phone on Do Not Disturb. Can you believe that? Oh my goodness. Oh well. All right. I'm only human. A swig of water. I'm going to wrap it up now. I really do hope that there was something in this episode that helped you. If you want to know more, learn more, and be a part of a community that's doing this week after week together, I want to invite you to come join us inside of Rock That Fitness, where we put it all together and we are getting stronger, building muscle, and getting stronger together. Stronger together. And I just want to invite you, again, go check out the show notes. There's something there for you. If you want to just get started, my free starter strength training program, get that link and go ahead and do that. When you do that, if you sign up for that, you will immediately be in the app. So look for my message, because I'll see you and I'll be like, hey, welcome to the RTF app. I'm here if you have questions. That's right. You're going to have immediate access to me. And I'm happy to do that for you. So come on in. I would love to help you. I just want you to know that everybody starts somewhere. The only difference, if you have never strength trained before, or you feel like you have a long way to go and it seems like, oh my God, I'll never get there. Look, everybody starts somewhere. And rather than comparing yourself with anybody else, let's get on with it, girl. Let's focus on you. Let's focus on getting you started right where you are. And let's not judge that. Let's just do it one step at a time, 1 foot right in front of the other, what you need to do for you, because no one else can do it for you. And the sooner we redirect all of that energy, get out of that comparisonitis, the sooner that we can just get it and start going. So remember, today we talked about why your rest periods inside your strength training program matter. Respect that. Follow your training program, especially if you're listening and you're a rock star. Ladies, there's a reason why everything is the way it is, and you know that. How to properly warm up and build in your warm-ups and into your lifts. The importance of slowing down your reps, controlling your tempo during that time. Mind to muscle connection, right? That's where all those neurotransmitters are getting connected and doing the work. So we have to pay close attention to that tempo. And training with real intensity. And there's different ways to do that. I didn't get into all the different methods of bringing intensity to a given exercise. And then the importance of progressive overload, like doing this week after week on a program we can watch and see your progress. And understanding that rep ranges matter and they do have a difference. We talked about that, and how to use supersets and what supersets are all about, what they're for. And then making sure that your nutrition is supporting your goals. And that's it. It's not doing more. It's doing things better, right? We don't need to work harder. And I just want to reiterate, I'm going to repeat this one more time. Bringing strength training into my life has been, as far as fitness goes, the biggest key. We need that to be the primary thing that we do. And I also want to mention, if you have limitations, you still can show up for all the other things that you can do. You're not limited. Okay. You're only limited as much as you make yourself limited. You can work around your limitations. There's something your body can still do to get strong in different areas. No matter what, you can still do something. And just because I say you got to lift heavy, that doesn't mean you've got to lift heavy like, whoever that is over there. We're not comparing. You need to lift heavy for you. Like, start where you are and build from there. I cannot say that enough. You will see results when you start working where you are and build from there. Because if you try to jump ahead, you're going to injure yourself. You're not going to get results. You're going to get frustrated. This is the best thing to do. Start where you are, girl, and just build from there. And what else? Enjoy the process. Okay. Remember, you don't need to work harder. Just got to work smarter, just like you do in other areas of your life that you are successful in, right? So one of the other things, I was listening to something this morning that was a big reminder, and I want to share this as I end. One of the biggest differences between women who are successful on their fat loss journey, their strength training journey, whatever the journey when it comes to your health and your fitness, one of the biggest differences between the successful and the not so successful is speed to action. And what do I mean by that? You can know what to do and nonchalantly get to doing it at some point in time. Okay, that's the person who may never see any results or very little, right? Or keep starting over. But the people who are successful, when they learn something and they know something and they go from not doing something to taking action right away, the speed from the time they know what to execute and the time that they execute it, when that time gap is tiny, shrinks, goes from here to here, that's when real success happens. So we've got to stop moving, like playing around, goofing around, stop feeling afraid and scared and doubting ourselves, all of that stuff. Like, we've got to be courageous and action oriented. That's the difference between women who are successful and women who are not. The women who are successful, they don't mess around. They're like, oh, Oh, that's what I got to do? I'm on it. Oh my gosh, that sounds scary. I'm going to do it anyway, right? Because, it's not about doing it in, what was that saying? The courage. Like, courage is not about not having fear. Courage is about having fear, but moving through it anyway. So the difference, right? Speed to action. How much time it takes you from knowing what to execute to actually executing. That speed is the difference. Get on it. Take some action today. Don't wait around. You're just going to keep on waiting, girl. Do this for yourself. You deserve to give yourself the best opportunity to succeed in any and every area of your life, girl. Sending you so much love today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on the podcast. If you are enjoying the podcast and you love it, please share it with somebody and let me know what you think. If you had thoughts about this podcast episode today or strength training for fat loss, spread the word. Help me spread the word. Please leave me a review. I would love to see some new reviews. Ladies, give me some reviews. Even if it's a review on this podcast itself or any of the podcasts that you've enjoyed that spoke to you, that you had a takeaway, I would love to see some reviews on that. That would be awesome. And I'll read them. I'll read them on the next podcast episode. Hold me to it. All right, girl. I love you so much. I hope you have a fantastic, wonderful month of April and the rest of your 2026. And remember, self-care, self-love all day, every day. Do I have your word? Good. Let's rock.